Hello, students. Welcome back. We are going to work on simplifying rational expressions today. Now, these will be expressions that are fractions that have polynomials in them, where we will need to factor these polynomials to create parentheses like what you see in this first example. So we need to create the polynomial in the form of factors rather than just addition and subtraction signs. And then we'll be able to cancel like factors from the numerator and the denominator. So in example number 1, you can see that in the numerator we have 12, and then we have a parentheses of x plus 2 squared and a 2x minus 7 to the 5th. Well, in the denominator, we have 2x minus 7 and no exponent, so that would be to the first. So we can cancel the entire parentheses. Now, in the numerator, I'm not going to, well, actually, I will go ahead and mark out the parentheses, and then I'm going to rewrite it with taking 5 minus 1 for my exponent to get 2x minus 7 to the 4th power. And then I have an x plus 2 to the 2nd and an x plus 2 to the 3rd. So I'm going to mark those out. My greater exponent is on the denominator. So subtracting those exponents would give me x plus 2 to the 1st in the denominator. And then I also have the coefficients. So I'll notice that I can divide both of these by 2. So 12 divided by 2 would give me 6, and 14 divided by 2 would give me 7. So that the simplified answer in the numerator would have 6, and then the quantity of 2x minus 7 to the 4th power. And then the denominator would have the 7 and x plus 2 to the 1st power, which I will not write that power. Now, the rest of our examples, we will be working on getting them to factored form, getting them to where we can see the parentheses. So the way that we will know whether or not we need to write an expression in parentheses is we're going to be looking for exponents. So our numerator here does not have any exponents, and therefore I'm just going to write it here, keeping track that this is my numerator. So I have x plus 3, no exponents. I cannot simplify this expression anymore. But my denominator, x to the 2nd minus 9, is something that has an exponent. It only has 2 terms, and so this is going to be the difference of 2 squares. And this is where we have 2 parentheses, one with addition, one with subtraction, and we do the square roots. So the square root of x squared will give me x, and the square root of 9 will give me 3. And so we're going to do x plus 3 and x minus 3. And so then I'm going to come back to my fraction, writing my numerator. This time I'm going to put it in a parentheses, and then my denominator, and I have my 2 factors, x plus 3 and x minus 3. Now, I can cancel when I can cancel the entire expression inside the parentheses. So x plus 3 and x plus 3. Now, they have the same exponent, so the x plus 3 factor is removed, but that removes the entire numerator, and so I need to remember that I'm dividing, and when I divide, I get ones. And so I'll have a 1 in the numerator, In the denominator, I don't need to write this one because I have the x minus 3 factor in the denominator. So 1 over x minus 3 is the factor, or is the simplified expression. And actually, I have a place for us to write that. 1 over x minus 3. All right, we're moving on to question 3 now. In this question, you'll notice that we have both the numerator and the denominator that have exponents. So we're going to need to do some factoring for each one. So the first one, I have 4x to the second minus 12x minus 40. And as I'm writing those, I'm noticing that each one of those can be divided by 4. I can divide each one of them by 4. And so 4 is going to be one of my factors at the end of the problem. This is going to give me x to the second minus 3x minus 10. So A is 1, B is negative 3, C is negative 10. And I would need to think about making a table. What would multiply to AC, which is negative 10, and what would add to B, which is negative 3. And so my multipliers to 10 are 1 and 10, and 2 and 5. And if I make 5 negative, I'll get negative 10 when I multiply, and I'll get negative 3 when I add. So I'm going to erase this 4 down at the bottom. Go ahead and do my work. So I'll have x squared plus 2x minus 5x minus 10. And then remember, we did a cut line, looked at what divided by those first two terms. That would be x, leaving us with, inside the parentheses, x plus 2. And then noticing that we could divide out negative 5. So we have a negative 5. And inside the parentheses, x plus 2. Whoops. Try to get that in red so you can see it. And so your numerator factors will include the 4 that we had at the beginning, and then the x plus 2, and then the x minus 5. So this is our numerator, 4, x plus 2, and x minus 5. All right, and then we have to do a similar thing for the denominator. So the denominator is x squared minus 2x minus 15. So A is 1, B is negative 2, C is negative 15. And so we'll look and see what multiplies to AC, which is negative 15, and what adds to B, which is negative 2. So multipliers to 15 would be 1 and 15, 3 and 5. If I make the 5 negative, then I can get it to add to negative 2. So that would give me x squared plus 3x minus 5x minus 15. And doing the cut line, I can divide both of these by x so that I would have x, and then inside the parentheses, x plus 3. Then I'll divide by negative 5. And so I'll have -5, and then in the parentheses, x plus 3. And this should look familiar to you. We've done this before. So then we would have x plus 3 and x minus 5 as our two factors. So that would be our denominator of x plus 3 and x minus 5. So now we look for what can we cancel in both the numerator and denominator, and that would be the x minus 5s. Everything else is different and not able to be canceled. So we would have our simplified answer as 4 times the quantity of x plus 2, and then in the denominator, x plus 3. All right, so we're ready for our fourth example. And again, we have both the numerator and the denominator that have exponents. So we're going to need to do some factoring. So we'll start with the numerator. We have 9. I was going to try to do that in red. So 9x to the second minus 16. Now, again, this is just two terms. So we're going to try doing the square root. 9x squared would be 3x, and the square root of 16, which would be 4. And so this is where we get the two parentheses, one with a plus sign and one with a minus sign. So 3x plus 4 and 3x minus 4. And then our denominator, which is 3x to the second plus x minus 4. And so A is 3, B is 1, C is -4. And so we could look to see what multiplies to AC, which is -12, what adds to give us B, which is 1. And so we have, for 12, we have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. If we make the 4 positive and the 3 negative, then we'll get the factors that we need. So we have 3x to the second minus 3x plus 4x minus 4. We'll do a cut line dividing by 3x. And so that will give us 3x times, and then inside we would have x minus 1. We can divide these two terms both by 4. It is a positive 4. And then inside the parentheses have x minus 1, so that our factors are x minus 1 and 3x plus 4. So as we put this back together, we have 3x plus 4 and 3x minus 4 as our numerator. As our denominator, we have x minus 1 and 3x plus 4. So we can cancel common factors from the numerator and denominator. That would be the 3x plus 4s. These two are not alike, and so our simplified answer in the numerator, 3x minus 4, and in the denominator, x minus 1. So these are your examples, and Um, you'll have to remember how to do factoring on quite a few of them. So be sure to ask questions if you have them. Good luck with your homework on this.